Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger and my friends. In today's video, we're talking 7 essential tips for DnF Duel. So if you're looking for a proper beginner's guide or just an overview of the cast, you can find those linked at the end of this video. In this one here, I'm going to be talking about just a couple aspects of the game that maybe are not immediately apparent, but you definitely should know about them. And first, we're going to be talking about a specific layer of counter hits. So for counter hits, I'm sure you already well know the idea. Basically, hit the character out of the move, it's a counter hit. And in this game, counter hits give you additional frame advantage so you can get combos that you couldn't normally get. That's great. But the thing is, if you get hit when you whiff, that's a punish. That's not a counter hit. It says punish right on the screen. But there is one situation in this game where a punish can be a counter hit, and that is when you hit reversals. So when you block any given reversal, every character just down in Magic is a reversal, although some characters, they're different, right? But when you block a reversal, the next hit you hit says counter, not punish. Obviously, it is indeed a punish, but you get the extra bonus frames from a counter hit. So in this scenario here, since I know for a fact it's going to be a counter when I punish a reversal, I'm going to do something like this. Normally, grappler, stand medium into full charge launcher, doesn't combo. But on counter hit, it definitely does. 2-hit combo, right? So now I know in these situations when I punish a reversal, because obviously if you block the reversal you get a punish, that's generally how fighting games work, but you can go for much bigger combos than you otherwise normally could. Let's give you an example. And there we go. So maybe, an extreme example, right? We're definitely going in with that super, but just to highlight that you can extra blow someone up for doing a reversal. You can get slightly better combos than you just otherwise would. Definitely don't just start with like that mash jab combo. Get as much maximum damage because you will always start with a counter hit and therefore can link your maximum possible combos. If you fight someone who just spams reversals a lot, this is something you definitely need to know. Now this one, you probably intuitively know it, but it still stands reason that we got to spell it out. And that is, if you have even 1 mana left, you are still a threat. In this game, every special move costs mana, and the ones that are better cost a bit more. So someone like Kunoichi, perhaps the showstopper move is the Flame Tornado, and that costs 90 mana, right? So when you're done, it takes a hot minute, and when you gotta rebuild, you rebuild, but before we hit 90, we can just cast it again. And sure, we're exhausted. Yes, naturally. But the fact is, this incredibly powerful move, even at 10 mana, I can do it again, right? As long as you have a single point of mana, it does not matter what move you want to do, you can always get the move. Now here is one thing to note. When you do a move and you go over your allotted limit, naturally you are exhausted. Now, not all exhaustions are created equal. So here, we'll wait till we get almost 90 mana back, and then we'll do our move again, and then have a look at the exhausted state. Okay, here we go. So we're exhausted, but came back pretty quick, right? Came back pretty quick. We were not exhausted for all that long, but now right here, now we're exhausted with only 10 mana left, and we're going to be in the exhausted state for much longer. So if you want to do your big move with only a little mana left, keep in mind you will be locked out for quite a bit longer than normal. It actually matters. Think of it as basically just going into the red and trying to get all the way back to 0 from wherever you started. So yes, there is absolutely the penalty for going overboard, right? But keep in mind, you can go overboard. The game will allow you to do it. Basically in Street Fighter, for example, right? You can only EX if you have 1 bar. This game says, nah, if you have half a bar, we'll still let you EX, but you gotta pay the price, right? So you can still do all your most powerful attacks. Don't let it stop you, especially if it's gonna be the round deciding move. Just keep in mind there's the penalty to pay. Now to talk blocking and recoverable health for a split second. So say you're blocking, right? At some point during the block, they're probably going to hit you with a skill, like a special move, right? Normals in this game do not do recoverable health damage. Only moves that are magic moves that use the MP bar make you take any kind of gray health damage, recoverable damage. But the secret here, in a way, is you're sort of turbocharged after you block. So after this specific string here, okay, it sucks, and we're actually losing therapeutic guard gauge too, right? But you know, we took the damage and we got some gray health. Like, sure, I'm going to take that gray health damage, but now since I have gray health to work with, my offense is basically turbocharged here for a hot minute, right? So something like that, where I could do launcher, jump light into the special, which is the big nuke. But the thing is, after I do the big nuke, like, I'm stuck in the air, like, they can just hit me, right? But I have gray health, so I can cancel out. So I did the big bomb call, I canceled out with the conversion, I did the beam just to lock him down in place for a second here, and then all of a sudden it's a much more favorable position, right? So in a way, you can sort of look at this as like, I guess you could say a comeback mechanic, in that you took the block and you have the gray health to work with, and now, until you get that gray health back, like, you're actually scarier than you were before. You have more options to work with, right? So you could do something that maybe isn't immediately safe right after the fact. Like, say, another scenario here. So I'm grappler fighting against the launcher. You know, classic slow character versus the fireball character, right? So if I block this special here, I'm taking gray health damage. And then, okay, now that I have the gray health, I can be a little bit more ballsy, I guess you could say, right? So now I did this. Now I can charge in, do my shoulder charge, which is projectile invulnerable. But the thing is, like, well, what if they block, right? It's not really safe on block. What if I didn't catch them doing that fireball I'm trying to blow through, right? No, well then, at that point, well, I can just convert and make it safe. So I have something to work with. And to that specific point, say I actually manage to connect, right? I can actually combo and follow up, right? So that conversion gives me even more offensive power if I do correctly get the hit at that point. And if not, it let me go for a gamble that would normally be unsafe, but thanks to me blocking that move, it gave me the gray health to burn as a resource to make my unsafe option safe. So I know I'm trying to, like, go layer by layer by layer by layer here, but basically blocking a move, as long as it gives you a little gray health, kind of gives you a little bit of a boost in the end. Now, one thing here to note about counterattacks. Now, there is not many counterattacks in this game, but they can ruin your day if they call you out. Now, one thing to note here, all the counters in the game universally lose to low attacks. So any kind of mid, any kind of jump, they will get bopped by counters, but if you do a low, you will just beat every single counter. So if you know, like, a grappler or a crusader just spamming counterattacks nonstop, just keep that in mind. Lows, once again, universally always beat counterattacks. You cannot counterattack a low. Now, to talk supers. Supers are great. And we'll talk even more about supers in a second. Supers are great, but this isn't Street Fighter or like a lot of other fighting games. Supers are not invincible in this game. So if I knock you down and you do wake up super, let me tell you how this works. It doesn't. It doesn't work. So if you want to wake up with super, it literally will get you killed. Supers are not invincible at all. Now, it's not like supers don't have any utility. They absolutely do. Some you want to use in certain situations, like Hitman is a great example here, because his, well, geez Louise, it goes like basically full screen, right? So, say you're up against a crusader, and you catch him trying to toss a fireball. You can literally reaction check that fireball. Oh, he tossed a fireball? Cool. Before you can block, you're dead, right? So, there's definitely a lot of utility to supers, but just wake up super, like a lot of other fighting games, is not the answer. Please do not do it. I've been fighting so many people already that they just spam wake up super thinking it's going to save them, and no, wake up super will make you definitely lose the game. Now, our next tip is the direct follow-up from the previous tip about supers. Supers, for the most part, there are some characters, like we mentioned the Hitman, you might just want to save it for like raw use, but for the most part, you want to use them in combos, and why is that? Because they have minimum scaling. No matter how large your combo is, right? It could be 50 hits, could be 5,000 hits. It'll always do a minimum amount of damage no matter what, which is usually fairly sizable. So let's give just baby example here, right? Baby example. Okay. So 6-hit combo, we're gonna hit with our super. And by the end of the super here, let's let the animation play out, right? 200 damage, right? Baby combo was nothing complex. So this obviously a more complex combo, much more hits, more setup, more grandeur. But at the end of the day, how much damage does the super do? It still does 200 damage. So regardless, the supers are doing 200 damage as a minimum. And considering most characters, the average health is 1,000, and actually quite a bit of the cast has less than 1,000, an extra 200 at the end of any given combo is a fairly big deal. So save that super if you can for the end of a extravagant combo, because it can be the difference between you winning or losing. And our final tip for the video is Kara canceling, otherwise known as empty canceling, and well, everyone can do it. It's actually very easy in this game. The game is very lax about it. So the basic concept is you do whatever move, ideally one that moves you forward. So Enchantress Stand Medium is a really good example here. And then you immediately cancel it into any special move. And that special move will also move forward just a little bit. So in our example here, Enchantress, well, she has a command grab, right? Now the command grab doesn't exactly have like lots of range, but we can extend it thanks to the Kara cancel. So in our example here, we're going to use that Stand Medium that moves us forward so much, and then we're going to cancel the beginning of Stand Medium into the command grab. And input-wise, it's actually very simple. Just hit back or cortical back, whatever. You can do the easy input or the more complex input, doesn't matter. And then just hit immediately medium special. Like even on our puppet summon, it's actually fairly pronounced. As you can see her just move forward just a little bit while she's doing it. Now let's see how it extends the range of our command grab. So at this distance here, basically never in a million years, we just simply cannot connect from this far away. But however, with the power of the Kara cancel, easy. You see that? She basically took like a full step forward before going for the command grab, right? And as long as you do it correctly, you'll just step forward and do it. Once again, every character in the game can do this. Everyone. It's just a matter of, do you have a button that moves you forward at all? Because if your button just keeps you stationary, it's not going to matter, right? And do you have a move that benefits from moving forward while doing the move? A command grab, obviously great example, because it extends the effective range of your grab. Say Kunoichi, here's another example, right? Her Stand Medium moves her forward just a little bit. So if we go Stand Medium, say, into her Fire Breath immediately, we'll basically do a slightly moving forward Fire Breath. Now, it's not a lot of extra distance, but say if you want to use it as a poke, it'll give you just a little bit more range as she does a just tiny step forward while doing it. So play around with it. Some characters, it can be a decently sized deal. Some characters, it's not really going to matter at all, right? But since this game freely, like pretty much without any restriction, lets you cancel any normal into any special within a few frames, that means if that normal has any amount of movement to it, you can add that movement to your special move, and that's a big deal. And that, my friends, is the 7 essential tips to help you out in DnF Duel. Once again, the beginner's guide, the character overview, that'll be linked at the end of this video. And check out the channel for more DnF Duel content in the future. And naturally as well, just all sorts of fighting games. But for now, my friends, that is it for the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. And go out and play some DnF Duel.